first, what I would do if I get a requirement like this population needs a background calculation of overtime, or like uh in general scenario, what you'll get like the workers who are spending more than 8 hours a day daily, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
They would be paid 1.5x of their salary.
Okay.
So
Yep.
the moment this number comes now like 1.5x, now 1.6x, so
Mm-hmm.
don't get that impression that you will have to configure that 1.5x what they will get paid. Okay. There is no that is not your job. The payroll has a job to multiply it with their compensation amount and make that calculation. But in that but the payroll needs to know that hours. That
Mm-hmm.
hours is owned by you.
Yep.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So in that particular scenario, like for example, let's first open the calculation tab. I just configured BH regular, IL regular. Okay, BH regular calculation tag and IL regular calculation tag. Okay, now what they have asked me that the calculation they what the requirement came from the requester was basically that any given hours which is working hours on a particular day is going beyond 8. Okay, so Workday gives certain number of calculations which is very useful, and there is one such calculation which is known as standard overtime calculation. So what we'll do, we'll create a calculation for this person. Not not for this person, we'll create this calculation for the population. Create time calculation is the task. I'll take BH overtime calculation daily. So the moment we click over there, there are a lot of types of calculation which comes into the picture for from the Workday standpoint of view. All the calculation which has been created and which has been delivered in Workday are should be from this type. There is no other types in Workday to create calculations. Okay. So there is a type of calculation which is specifically made for overtimes. Like if somebody crosses a certain number of hours, how should it look like and other stuff. So standard overtime. Click OK.
And
It
if
will
there is any other calculation apart from whatever the given, then we can use this time block creator calculation, right?
if your company asks you, like I
Uh,
want to see a block,
yeah.
then you have to create other conditional or something. That is the later part when you play with calculated field.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right?
Okay.
Now, with now new updates in Workday, they have given effective date of the calculation. What is the effective date of the calculation? Okay. From which date it is effective. This is the new updates. Okay. But if you're implementing fresh the Workday tenant, okay, try to have the effective date matched with the period schedule effective date, like the first period of your period schedule. First period means the moment the period schedule has been created. Generally, period schedule is not created for the current year when you have a fresh implementation. They have like past 2-3 years periods also mentioned. Okay,
Yep.
when there is a fresh implementation.
Hmm. So,
Okay, if for example, in order to have any past dated reconciliation, any retro dated,
yes.
where there is a new tenant and new fresh implementation. For example, now in Chronos, you're moving to Workday. So what will
Mhm.
happen in your Workday tenant? Uh, Past 3 years periods would also be added.
Okay.
That is the fundamental way of doing it. Okay. Some companies says that not we will start from the current year period, but on a nutshell, on a hindsight, if you see, on a ideal ideology we see, we add past 2-3 years period for better org structures, for better reporting also. If anything comes up, or if any previous data needs to be uploaded, period shield should be there for time tracking. or anything. And it's highly important for the payroll also if we are using Workday payroll.
Yeah,
So
we are using for the payroll also.
yeah, so then
That
definitely it
runs.
would be there. So I am making, considering it as a fresh implementation, I am making it 01012020,
Mhm.
like last 4 years period. I'm making it effective. Okay,
Mhm.
it is a daily. Okay. So what my query was basically any worker who's working more than 8 hours a day, he or
So
she should.
I got one question not related to this. Just wanted to know about the chrono side. So whenever we are migrating our, like you mentioned, period schedule, we are
Hmm.
considering 2, 3 years back. Are we like migrating the data as well for 1 or 2 years? So will that be, uh, the
It is
time
not
goes?
necessary. It is not necessary to migrate 2 year data, depending on like what if you want to have a historical data updated. If I said it that yes, so ideally it should do some historical data before
Hmm. Okay.
moving it. So
Okay.
yeah,
Okay. Yep.
replace hours 8. Okay. So what it will do, it will see the criteria. Criteria is basically true and false. So the system pointer will come over here and see if it is going more than 8, then worker is working overtime. But how the system will know that it is going more than 8 or not? Correct? System is not aware automatically that this hours is going more than 8. What is
Yeah.
that parameter that delivers that the hours are going more than 8 or not? Which carrier is responsible? Here, the important picture comes into the
Calculation time.
picture is calculation tag. So what I will see that any given hours from this time entry code, like either from BH or IL regular, are regular hours. So I'll copy paste one.
IL regular.
Another I'll do IL regular. I'll do a mistake now. I'll add it. Okay. It should be in overtime. Okay. So now
Hmm.
overtime needs to be stored in a separate area. Correct.
Yeah. Yeah, right.
So now
We'll create another tag for this. Okay, great.
BH overtime.
Okay.
And the other values should get removed. Now it says, uh, is it based on the calendar calculated date or a shift date? Okay. If the worker is working on shift, okay,
Hmm.
so it will consider the shift date. Okay. You will see some of the scenarios where the worker is working, your entries would be 2 times a day. Like for example, evening 4, evening 4 to next morning 2, correct? And in
Mm-hmm.
the same day again, evening 10 to next morning something. So that point of time, don't get confused that okay, he's working double overtime twice a day. It is not a scenario. It can be a shift, correct?
Yeah, right.
Now, this section we do not uh, fill. Previously, this section was not here. This section was having another tab over here. It's like
Okay.
class section. Okay, this is a new update, so they want to that consolidate in a single page. Now, I have created this calculation. Okay, but
Mm-hmm.
in this I have done a mistake. We will do correct the mistake. But once we see what is the mistake when we do entries, okay.
Okay.
Here it is now needed like which population is also for this calculation is effective, which is that population. So what we will do, you'll have to
Mm.
see the calculation group. Okay, I'm just adding this calculation group. Okay, if I click over here, What is a calculation group? Calculation group is nothing. It is just an eligibility criteria.
Okay, what are the workers are eligible to get the
So
overtime?
same goes for the code group is similar. If you know that we created time entry code, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Time entry code is is tied up with time calculations, correct? Sorry, time code groups. If you remember, time entry code is always linked with time code group.
Yeah, right.
Similarly, time calculation is always linked with the time calculation group. Why?
Groups.
The
Mm.
system should know like which population is eligible for the calculation.
Okay, so we specified in the groups. Okay.
Yeah.
So mostly exempt employees will come in that, right? So
Sorry,
that exempt employees comes, right? Usually for this overtime.
I don't know. Like exam, it depends on the calculation. They never
Yeah.
categorize like exam or non-exam are coming up. If it is in a situation in US, a
No,
lot of
miss. Yeah, it's again depend upon the requirement,
yeah
but ultimately overtime is given to the exempt employees, right? That's what
exam
happened.
was in United States.
Yeah, in United States. So majorly this we are going to do for US, so that's why I'm just thinking
Yeah,
from that angle.
yeah. So now I have made this calculation. Another thing that alert comes up into the picture that a priority has to be given. What is priorities? Priorities is basically the order of execution of a calculation. How
Hmm.
the calculation would trigger and how it would come into the picture. Okay.
Yep, right.
So my always thinking is to start with an ascending number depending on the flow of the priority. Okay. And don't mix any calculations in this particular one. Okay. For example, I'll click over here, maintain priority. Okay. Now, when you are doing for country to country, okay,
Mm-hmm.
different countries, my best suggestion would be using country ISO code underscore
Okay. And then give
zero.
the number.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
This would create less confusion first.
Right.
And there would be standardization. Like, see, if here is like there are a mixed match of a lot of calculations, 0 1 0 1 0 1. We shouldn't do like this. For
Mm-hmm.
example, we are going with a naming convention BH 0 0 1. I make it. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now let's do some time entry and see if he's getting an overtime or not. Clear. So now I'll use the entry code I'll in and out. Okay. I'll add the in time as 10. Add the out time as 22. 22 is basically 10. It's 12
Yeah,
hours.
very
Okay.
nice. Mm.
What is your expectation? Regular should be 8. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
And rest would be
So overtime
overtime.
will be for
But I have not configured the total for overtime. Let me just go configure the total for
yeah.
overtime.
It is BH overtime.
The tag name is BH overtime. You can have a generic name on the label as overtime.
Yeah. So why we are adding in the additional tag instead of this additional total instead of totals? Okay, so that is unit label tag. Okay, we are tagging here. Okay.
Now let me click it and let's see what happens. So what happened over here? 12 hours is there, but everything is going to regular. There is nothing on zero with the
Yeah.
overtime. Why? Let me go to the calculation. The mistake that I did over here is making both of them together in one column. What does
Oh,
basically mean is if the hours from BH regular and IL regular is greater than 8 and is the logic that came into the picture, then
okay.
if it is crossing more than 8, like and both of them should, both entry codes should be there in the system on the same day. And if the hours are crossing 8, then it is an overtime. Instead of that, I would have to do this. The time which is generated either by IL regular or BH
Or
regular,
basically.
if it is going more than 8.
Okay. So the condition was not satisfied there. That's why it's showing
Yeah,
12.
because that's the mistake that I did.
Okay, because the
Now,
and condition.
now what will happen if I go and refresh it? Okay, let's see what is the situation in the calculation. Does it got reflected? No. I refresh the calculation.
In the
Refresh the
remove
page.
tags, in the remove tags also we need to put the same.
No. In the remove tag, it is not needed. Remove
Okay.
tag, there is no plus coming up. Did you see when I did it? There is no
Oh,
plus sign coming up. It is
okay,
not needed.
okay.
What I am saying it now, I have corrected it. I'm just refreshing. Okay. Click the refresh button. Did it, did my expectation should be it should come over here, but it
Okay.
shouldn't. The reason behind I did not refresh the calculation by clicking on run calculation.
Okay. Okay.
I'll click any background calculation modification. You need
Hmm.
to,
Run the
that
tag.
does not get automatically reflected on the time card until and unless you refresh the calculation by run calculation. And same goes with the payroll. So now when I did it,
Hmm.
automatically a very good distinguished numbers got bifurcated, one with regular and one with overtime. Now, when I click on this particular area and I go to the view details, I go to the calculator tab, I can easily see that, ignore this, California, ignore this, okay? I can easily see this IL regular and BH
Overtime.
overtime automatically get
Hmm.
created.
Yeah.
Now, if I don't, let's do one thing. If I don't remove these tags, okay, what will happen? I click OK. Again, go to the time block. I go and run the calculation.
We come into regular hours. No, no.
What will happen? Let me show you. 12 hours will come into regular and
Regular hours
4
and
hours are come into the overtime. So
overtime.
that's why this removal needs to be done.
Means if you see literal meaning remove tags,
Hmm.
okay. So after overtime, it should remove this regular hours, right? Or IL regular hours.
Yeah, yes, that is the meaning.
Means it should not
Similar,
include with the overtime. It should not
yeah,
include the overtime.
it should not include with the overtime. It should get removed.
Yeah.
That
Okay.
value should get distinguished. Okay.
Hmm.
So now another thing, like once, like what came into the picture is if any given hours are going more than, if in a day worker is going beyond 12 hours, okay, understand,
Mm-hmm.
in a particular day, if a worker is going beyond 12 hours, any particular hours entered on that particular day would be considered as double time. Okay,
Yeah.
simple.
Hmm.
So, how the bifurcation would happen would be I came and I entered. I'm just making an entry over here. I came at 7 a.m. and I went back home at 9 p.m. Okay,
Hmm.
14 hours, which means 8 hours regular, 4 hours overtime,
Overtime.
and 2
Yeah,
hours
that's
double
double
time.
time.
Okay, now I see over here coming up regular 16 as 8 hours this day, 8 hours this day, total regular 16. Okay,
Yep.
let's remove this particular block so that you don't get confused. I see 8 hours regular and 6 hour overtime, which is shouldn't be two. What I need 8, 4, 2, correct? For a day.
Hmm.
So first thing, what I will do, I'll create a double time tag and add it to the totals. I do another mistake here and let's rectify that while doing the calculation.
Hmm. For double time also, we are considering overtime calculation, right?
Yeah, there is no such like creating a double time calculation.
Okay.
Understand this very simple concept that any given hour is going beyond, greater than. So it's very easy to use this particular one.
Hmm.
Daily is the criteria. What I said, going beyond 12 hours. Okay.
Yeah.
Now see what mistakes I'll do. I'll add both regular
Hmm. IL regular.
and irregular. Okay.
Overtime also we need to include. I think.
Okay. Let me include that. As you said, tag BH double.
So, I believe overtime should be included with the hours, right? Regular and with the and condition, not with the or condition.
Let's do it.
PH double time.
Let's see you believe how it works. I'll make this calculation as 02.
Hmm. Right, right.
Okay. Three, 02. Okay. Now I'll go. Okay.
Hmm.
I'll run the calculation. It's more than that. Now let me see the things what you stated. I'm configured the same way. What happens? Nothing happens for the double time.
Yeah, you're right.
Let's modify. Let's make another mistake. So the condition that you said, make it and it is not needed. So I'll remove.
Okay.
I'll click OK and I'll do
Run calculation.
run calculation. What happened?
Nothing happened.
Nothing happened. Correct? Why? I don't know. But the thing is that what is going on in priority, first priority, the priority is BH002. Let me make the priority again.
Okay, because of the priority, overtime runs first. So first it has to run double time, 001, and then overtime should be 2.
Really? Then if
No,
everything goes to double time, then overtime will not run.
okay, first
Let's
it has to be overtime. Okay, you meant to say, right?
always the overtime would be first. I'll
Yeah.
reconsider. Did not happen. Now let me tell you what we can do. Making changes. Changes. What I said it. 8, 4, 2. 8 is your regular, 4 is your overtime, and 2 is your double time. So you have
Mhm.
configured that any hours, understand, any hours
Yeah.
going beyond 4 would automatically
It
become
is-
a double time.
Mhm.
Correct? For a day.
Yeah,
Correct?
yeah,
In order
right.
to go to double time, your overtime should be also exist in the system. Correct? Yes or
Hmm.
no? Yeah.
Yeah, so
So
regular will anyhow from the overtime calculation it will run and it will create that block in the totals
yes.
as well, right?
So now see,
Yeah, so regular hours and overtime hours and under the summary section we got it from the overtime calculation and this
yeah,
double time will get
your
it from this.
overtime calculation from the base calculation was your regular hours.
Yeah.
Enter point was overtime. Now, when the overtime is going beyond that particular hours, that goes
Mhm.
to double time.
Yeah.
This is the interlinkage which is
Yep.
done through calculation tags.
Yeah.
And that is
Okay.
the core part. And
Mm.
here all the confusion comes.
Yeah, I got it now.
Now, if I would have done change the priorities, it would not have worked like the same way.
Mm.
First, the overtime calculation will run, then the second calculation
If
will
you
run.
change your priority double time first or and then overtime, then all the 6 hours will go to double time.
Let's do it. Why 6 hours will go to double time?
The priorities change, right?
How the 6 hours would go to double time system until unless overtime is not created. System knows is there any overtime.
Yeah, that is also correct. So if you change the priority, then what will happen? That's what I'm thinking. Nothing will run. Then
It shouldn't
nothing.
run. If I make it, it should create some, make this priority.
Mm.
Let's see. Double time. See, because overtime does not exist at that point of time. The system would go to directly to the calculation. System go to this calculation, your double time, check.
Mm.
Is there any overtime? System saw the calculation. There is any overtime generated? No. Why? Because there is no input from the regular hours.
Mm.
Correct? It will
Mm.
not. Okay. Into the time calculation. Run the calculation. Now it's working fine.
Yeah.
These are the mistakes that happens, and a consultant gets like pissed off because of that.
Yeah. Okay.
1 second. Okay, yeah. So what we did over here is basically the overtime and double time. Now there are different types of overtime and double time depending on criterias. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Criterias are such like if it is a daily, if it is a weekly, or it's a monthly. Okay. What
Yeah.
you
So
will do,
if we choose uh, weekly,
that is something that is a homework for you.
okay, ठीक है.
If
Okay,
somebody is
fine.
working more than 40 hours
Hmm.
for a week, configure that.
Hmm.
Select the
Okay.
criteria, choose the priorities. It's up to you. And okay.
Yeah.
And another thing is I want is basically if somebody is crossing more than 160 hours
Hmm.
a month, then that would be a monthly overtime. Weekly and monthly you have to do. There are criterias mentioned in that particular, mess it up and see what you can get it over.
Hmm.
Okay. Overtime, weekly and double time. Understand the priority of monthly would be after weekly. So if you're having a calculation of weekly as
Hmm.
03, your monthly will be 04.
Yeah,
How it
right.
works? Daily, weekly,
Daily, weekly,
monthly.
monthly.
That
Yeah.
should be my priority. Okay,
Hmm.
cool.
And
Another type.
in and in that also we need to do double time for weekly and monthly also. No, it or like
There is no requirement such right now, so you don't worry about it.
okay, fine. Take it.
But do that have a double time on weekly basis? Double time always comes like when you're retarding something like if Saturday you have worked overtime. What like there are conditions such as like practical scenario like if on a Saturday if you have worked more than 8 hours, okay, then any given hours on Sunday would which you enter would be a double time.
Okay.
These are like complex calculations. Okay. Yeah. These are like the calculation that I'm giving. It is a fairy tale calculation, but on a practical basis, some other calculations comes into picture. Like if on a Saturday, and that is a six consecutive day, if anybody is working more than 6 hours, 8 hours in a day, then any
Hmm.
given hour working on Sunday would be considered as double time. Or if any break is taken on that particular day, would be taken as a premium break.
Okay.
Okay, these are like real scenarios. Okay.
Okay. Great. Mhm.
Oh, God. Okay, cool.
Okay.
Now I'm giving you another kind, bringing you attention on another type of calculation, which is basically time frame calculation. Time frame calculations in your chronos also, like if somebody is working in a night shift, they will get any other premium, other
Yeah,
stuff like
yeah.
it.
Night
Differential
shift.
shift differential calculation. Okay,
Yeah.
which is basically having an start time and end time. Okay,
Yeah.
so generally in companies, what happens if you are working on a hourly basis and if you're working on at a certain given point of hours, like evening 9 to morning 4, you would be given as a additional amount
Yeah.
on top of your salary.
Yeah.
So let's go and see that type of calculation. To create that,
Mm.
I click on go and create a calculation. Create time calculation. Let's make it evening 7 till morning 7. It's a calculation known as shift differential calculation.
Mm.
I click on this. The moment I click on this, again, effective date of dates would come into the picture 01/01/2020.
20.
Then it asks the start time. So I make it 7.
7. Okay. Morning.
No, 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 7 p.m. I'll do it.
Yeah.
7 p.m. till 7 a.m. Mhm. 7 a.m. Okay. Hours generating from IL
Regular.
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 Now, here I'm not removing any tag. I'll answer this question during my demo on that.
Mm-hmm.
Maintaining the priority now, make it BH03. There is because this is mutually exclusive from your overtime, so it will not
Yeah.
impact. It is a different calculation. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So when I enter time, what was the calculation tag? Premium.
Shift premium.
For example, you are working in an organization where you are
Mhm.
$10 per hour. Okay,
Yes. Mm.
$10 per hour, and you are in night shift. Okay, so now I'm entering my hours from here.
So
Let me
ten
first
dollar, $10 per hours you are saying for the regular one, right? Or is it for the
I'm saying right now. Yeah, understand. Now understand. Let me complete it. You're working in an organization, your daily wage, hourly wage is $10 per hour. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're crossing that limit of night shift, additional $10 would be given, or $5. Let's take $5 for our
Yeah.
basic mathematics. Okay. So
Mm.
what happens now? I started my day at 4 p.m. No, sorry, 2 p.m. and I
Mm.
ended up at 22, which is 10.
Okay.
Okay.
Mm.
7 to 10 is 3 hours. Okay.
3 hours.
So it's
Mm.
$15. Okay.
Yes.
If I click OK, so what I will see, my regular hours are 8, which is absolutely correct. Okay.
Mm.
And shift hours are 3. Correct. Premium is 3. So
Yeah, right.
what will happen? $80 plus $15, which is basically
15%. Yeah.
plus 15 is equal to $95. Okay. That
Okay.
is that is the premium that I will get.
Mm.
$15 an extra premium, but $80 is my regular hours. Correct?
Yeah, right.
If I would have,
I just want to know, we have not run calculation for this shift and
but
shift.
why? Because I have cleared the calculation. Na? Why I would
Okay.
run calculation, cleared the calculation, remove this and add a fresh entry. Na?
Mhm. Okay, so fresh entry, we never need to run the run calculation, you meant to say.
Yeah.
Okay, when
Now
we do any modification, then we need to run. Okay.
if I if
Mm-hmm.
I remove if I add remove tag bh regular
Regular.
in IL regular over here. Now I need to run calculation
Yeah.
because I modified the calculation. Now, if I do this and
Okay.
confirm you,
It will add
what
in
I
the
will
regular
see over
hours.
here, what I will see
Mhm.
over here, basically the regular hour would be removed.
Okay.
correct?
Mm-hmm.
So that is the loss, like $50 and 15 extra.
Yeah.
But however, he has worked 8 hours. Doesn't make a
Mm.
difference, correct? It's a loss. That's why in shift differential, we generally do not remove the time calculation which is added based on the company scenario. We have to analyze the company scenario on this, correct?
So can you
Generally, shift is given an extra, the shift is an
so
extra additional amount.
additional amount, right? So here I have one question. Is it so, or do you have any condition where for the shift differential we are using remove tax?
Can be like if the shift differential is the amount is more than high. If there is like if more than the regular hours, the differential amount is more than the regular is already accompanied in your regular hours, then we can remove it. Like for example, if your shift premium is $40 per hour, regular is $1 per hour. Sorry, $10 per hour, and company say
Mhm.
that the shift this time is inclusive of regular. Then you need to remove.
Okay. Yeah, then we have to remove. Okay. Because I just wanted to understand so why they have given the remove tag there. Okay. On what condition we have to use.
They
Otherwise,
can be, but can be. So,
yeah, now I got it.
yeah.
Yeah, now it makes sense. Hmm.
One second. Hmm. So this is your shift differential calculation. It's been highly used. Shift differential gets highly used, and
Overtime
the
tracking.
other one, yeah, overtime is also very highly used. So these are the calculations that you will use day in day out on your,
Hmm.
which would be get used on most of the workers who are working in hourly basis and they have their shift working timings. So here how we do it. Okay. All right. Any questions for the day?
Yeah, not related to this, but if you remember that we discussed right for the business this I'll do this business gathering.
Hmm.
Okay, so I just need some help on that. Do you have any template on that? So that will be beneficial for me.
Who is your implementation partner?
Implementation partner. Okay, wait, this is recording, so I don't know. Okay, so implementation partner is allied
Who
only.
you have an implementation partner, correct?
Yeah.
So they will bring the template. You do not need a template.
Okay.
They, you guys are getting a help from an implementation partner to move your Chronos data to Workday, correct?
Yeah. Right.
They would have a workbook with them,
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
and
Right.
you guys have to be aligned with them. And your job would be they will first guide you to walk you through their workbook, which is basically a requirement book, and you would also be there, and then it would be passed to HR. Like you would be the mediator on this particular one, correct?
Yeah, mediator, and then it means they will also be in the meeting, and we are also in the meeting. So they will
So
tell
yeah,
that.
they will
Yes.
be implementing. You are on the end side. You will also do implementation. They will teach you. You do this particular one. You do this particular one. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Right.
this is a.
Okay.
So yes,
Okay.
for this. So you shouldn't